unless you don't understand the economy. Okay, because you're going to put money. And nowadays, many people, they not only put money in India, they also, invest in shares abroad or mutual funds, which are, buying shares of like Apple, Microsoft, or any company abroad, so that, if they think that they can make good returns even by investing money outside, so they do it. So you should have a good knowledge about the economy. What is the current situation of the economy and how the economy is going to shape up in future. So basically, financial planning seeks to ensure adequacy of assets and cash flows for meeting the financial goals of the client. So you have certain goals. You have to marry your daughter, you have to send your son to school, and you have to do your retirement planning. So you must understand, all the assets your client holds. So basically, when you are doing a planning, so you have to plan, the person's, future assets in such a way that he has good liquidity. So whenever he needs money, he can convert those investments into cash without any problem. Sometimes, we are into a kind of a situation where you are not able to sell. Suppose you have heavily invested in real estate and you need money, so you'll not find a buyer for real estate, and maybe the real estate has not appreciated so much, so it's an illiquid asset. So, the financial planner has to make a proper plan with respect to, so that your money can be immediately liquidated and you have cash with you to meet your goals. So, he has to understand, this thing, that how much risk you can take. Okay. So either you want to take a risk and grow your money faster, because if you take a risk, you will have higher returns. And of course, there are chances of losing your money also in a short time, but in long time, you will always make money. Okay. And then, sometimes I mean, your client wants to have a conservative approach. Now, the conservative approach only will be when he attains a certain age. So after 60 or after 50, you don't want to be taking higher risk. So there are various approaches. Okay. So we'll understand, how all these things are addressed regarding, where to invest, how much risk to take, how to protect your wealth. So, but yeah, okay. Now, there's another part that, after you attain your age of retirement, okay, then you do a planning for your next generation. So you have to have a proper, a kind of a will made for yourself, so that, there is a good, I mean, easy transformation of your wealth to the next generation. So we'll understand that also later. So now we come to the main important part, economic cycle and indicators. So how do we understand the economy? So this is very important. Now what we are going to do is very important. So please focus, and it is going to help you out. So, the person who is doing your planning, he should have a clear picture about, how the economy is going to shape, where you're going to put your money. Like we are going to put money mostly in Indian assets. So we should know where the economy of India is heading before we start putting, what kind of a cycle through which we are passing. Now, we know that, in economy, it keeps, going up and down. It's not like a stable, or a linear kind of a growth. It is, it moves in various forms of, as shown in the picture. So there will be a boom, okay, and each boom will have a peak, and each peak, after the peak, there will be a recession, and then there will be a trough. Trough is in economics is the point of business cycle. Now it's the lowest point. If they suppose there was a recession, okay, it will reach to the lowest end, and then the economy will start picking up. So trough is basically the lowest point, from point of inflection, from where the economy starts, moving up. So there will be various peaks, okay, and as we can see, each successive peak is higher than the previous, because the economy keep growing, okay. Even if there is a recession, the next, peak will be normally, in a growing economy like India, the next peak of the boom will be higher than the previous peak, okay. So this is the economy, this is how the economy, moves. And we must know, which part of the cycle we are today. Fine. And how much you should invest, it will define. Now suppose we are passing through recession, so according to me, it's a time when you should be putting your money the most. Fine, because at that time the stock markets will be, trading at a low multiples, or it will be trading at a lower level, so that you take the maximum advantage of putting your money at that time. Okay, and peak time is where, you always, enjoy your wealth, that, your wealth has grown, because the stock markets are also doing well. And if you require some money, you can always pull out some money at that time. Otherwise, remain invested. Okay. Now, there are various kinds of indicators in the economy. One is called the lead indicator, another one is called the lag indicator. So these are very important. So there are certain lead indicators and lag indicators, which tells you, how the economy is going to do in future. So I'll just read. These are the indicators that provide the information after the event has happened. So lead indicator is basically, lag indicator is after the event has happened. Now, we'll know that it will tell you the story of that. Okay. For example, the GDP data. When the GDP data is out, we know that last GDP data, every quarter the growth numbers are announced by India. So the last growth numbers were very good. Okay, of course it was compared to the last previous quarter were less, but our economy is growing. Okay, no, just let me just complete that and you'll understand. GDP is a lag indicator. After the GDP is announced, we come to know how the economy has done in the last 3 months. So it's a lag indicator, clearly. Okay, fine. It's not telling you something about the future. Fine. You only come to know by seeing the GDP number that how the economy has done over the last quarter. So it's clearly a lag indicator. After the GDP data is captured, we know whether the economy has improved or stagnated. Okay, so it's a completely lag indicator. Now, just to understand about this lag indicator little bit, how the economy has been doing over the last. I've just added these slides, so I'll just share the latest version. GDP growth, beat expectation in July, September. So this was a July, September number. So our GDP numbers have beaten the expectations of most of the analysts, slowing only slightly from the prior quarter and remaining among the strongest in Asia. So we are strongest in Asia, but the growth numbers were very good, but they were slightly lower than the previous quarter. Okay, but they were ahead of the numbers which most of the people had predicted for India, that we will not be doing so well. Like there is a famous economist like Raghuram, who was the the finance minister of India, who was the RBI governor. So he said that India is not going to achieve. He'll be surprised if India crosses 5%. Okay, but India did about 7%. Okay, so most of the people were not, hoping that India will do well in this quarter, but India has outperformed and outshone all of the economies of the world. Momentum was supported by strong government consumption and investment ahead of general elections due to be held next year. So government spent a lot of money, okay, to boost up, from making bridges, metros, all the infrastructure spending, which actually boost the economy. So there's a lot of money which was spent because of the elections are very near, and the government wants to do a lot of, things. They have been making a lot of bridges, roads, railway lines. Even Jammu Kashmir, tunnel, which there was a breakthrough in just a few days back. The tunnel between the Katra and the next station, which was the most difficult part of the train. So they have have a breakthrough, and we are going to have a train right from Kanyakumari to Kashmir, maybe in the next couple of months. And a lot of expressways have been built recently. So a lot of money has been spent on infrastructure, and a lot of new projects, projects have been also launched. So turning in October to December 2023 GDP growth is set to slow from the prior quarter. So according to this, analysis, it says that October to December, which is the current quarter, which is the quarter which is yet to be announced in January, they're saying it's set to slow from the prior quarter. So we are going to be a little slow down. As all the economists said that we'll slow down. So still the view is that we will be slow down, with both manufacturing and services activities in October and November easing. Okay, so there is an easing in activities of the manufacturing activities. So while remaining rapid according to PMI data. Have you heard about something about PMI data? PMI data सुना है आपने कभी? Purchaser Managers Index. Okay, so it's a very important data. So if you have not heard, uh, please understand it. It is published every first of the month for India as well as all the countries in the world. Okay, I'll just give you a brief about it. It's called Purchaser Manager Index, which is published on first of the month. Okay, all across the world, both for manufacturing and services. If the number is above 50, then mean the economy is expanding. If it's written in my slides, will come. If it is below 50, then the economy is in contraction. Okay, it tells you about the future. Okay, fine. It's actually a lead indicator. Though of course we are covering the lag indicators, but PMI is a lead indicator. It tells you how the economy is going to do well. Okay, in future also. Fine. The number above 50 shows the economy is doing very well. If the number falls down below 50, or from say 55 to 50, that means there is a economy is under there's less activities in the economy. But below 50 means a kind of a bad situation for the country. Okay.
So that we can compare PMI and GDP both. We can just predict what GDP will be
Definitely.
based on PMI.
Based on the PMI, we can know, how the economy is going to. But of course, there are a lot of numbers through which we can, even if we want to say that the GDP is going to go up or go down, it's not so easy because they are numbers, okay? They are percentages. It can be 7.1, 6.9, so you can't exactly predict the GDP, okay? Fine, where it will go. Even despite the PMI showing a kind of an increase, or maybe, like, for example, GST collections. Every month the government announces, what is the goods and services tax collection. It's around, 1,70,000 crores at the moment per month. Fine. And you see how the growth is happening. So I'll show you the data also. It's a very interesting data to show that how, if the GST data was, 1,70,000 last month, and next month is 2 lakh, suppose. That means the economy is done well because, goods and services tax which has been paid tells you the story the economy is doing well or not. Okay, fine. So we can clearly see the trend of the GST data. I'll just show you that. हाँ जी, ये डेटा तो आप गूगल में जीएसटी करो, विकिपीडिया में आपको मंथ वाइज मंथ दिया. आई विल शो यू द नंबर. ओके, डोंट वरी. आई विल शो यू द सोर्स आल्सो. ओके. However, in the same period, consumer sentiment rose and annual exports rebounded in October from Q3, suggesting GDP growth remains strong. Now, there is always a consumer sentiment. There is a consumer confidence index. With their surveys are done basically, with a lot of people who are in industry, how they feel, about, future of India. So there are some, consumer surveys. We're going to talk about that little more in my coming slides. So that is again a lead indicator. Suppose that the, consumer confidence index, which is called, I think, in totality, it tells you, how the people, how the industry people are viewing about the growth story of India. Okay, if we are getting a good survey and people are 90% are very positive, only maybe 10% people are either pessimistic or don't have any view, compared to, last survey where only 70% was only optimistic. So we say that the economy is going to do well because 90% of people are saying that the economy is going to do well. Again, it's a lead indicator. Before we step in and understand the lead indicator, so these are some of the lead indicators, which are the PMI data, the consumer confidence index survey. Now, looking at the inflation of India, inflation rose to 5.6% in November from 4.9% in October. So inflation is gone up. But the recent trends are because the crude oil, which is one of the major component of the inflation, because we are importing a lot of crude oil, it has softened in the international market. Do you know that? The crude oil has come down to below 80 now. It was hovering around $90 a barrel. Now it is close to about 80, 79, 76 or so, thereabout. So that is going to help the inflation of of our country to come down, because crude is a very important part of the inflation basket. Looking ahead, price pressure is staying within the central bank range of 2 to 6%. So the central bank RBI says that they want the inflation should remain between 2 to 6%. If it remains between 2 to 6%, they're happy because that is a target they have set for themselves. Now, of course, we have El Nino and Hamas-Israel war, which has happened, which is going to have some positive impact. He's saying there was an upside risk due to their possible impacts on commodity prices. Because, the commodity prices generally soften or go up or go down because of the war situation. So he says that it is going to be a positive surprise. So we'll understand why he's saying. I have not really gone through this. Now, if you look at the GDP data of India, right from 2023, so it was quite stable, and then there is a dip because of the COVID, and then, it has gone up. It has gone up, and, in 22, it's been growing, and there is a link which I have, shared here, so you can just go through all the data, and a lot of information is available there. Though I wanted to show, but it will consume a lot of time, so you can just go through, and if you don't follow anything, we can even discuss in my next class. So we come to the lag indicators, another lag indicator. Similarly, unemployment is a lag indicator of the economy. Unemployment data, we get it after, the data is published and we know whether the, employment has gone up or gone down. Fine. So it's a lag indicator. So once we see that the employment index has shown a decline, so we know that the situation was not good in the past. After the recession has hit, one finds the unemployment figures are high. So unemployment, GDP, they are all lag indicators. Now, what are the lead indicators, which I have already discussed? These provide the information before the event has happened. So we should be focusing more on the both on the lag as well as the lead indicators. But lead indicators are telling you about the future story. Because if you want to make an investment, we should know where our country is heading. Is the right time to put our money or not? Or should we slow down or should we put more money? Of course, you should keep investing in all the times, whether it's a recession or a boom time. But you can always make more allocation and you can change your asset allocation also. Fine. From debt to equity or equity to debt or any other class of assets, gold you can add or something like that. Okay. So for instance, a consumer confidence survey or business confidence survey would give a good idea where the economy is headed. A bullish confidence survey indicates that the economy is likely to improve. Okay. Now, let's see about PMI, which I was talking about. So let's see, आगे idea हुआ मैंने. I'll go to the site also. So there's a company called Market. The global financial information services company calculates the purchasing managers index, which is monthly data driven snapshot of individual countries' economies. Okay. So there is a global firm which calculates the PMI. Okay, and which is on a monthly basis. It is calculated based on the inputs from senior purchasing managers in business. So they, there's a mechanism through which they collect all the data from the people who are managing, who are, in the organizations. So it is available in collaboration with HSBC. Similarly, indices are brought out by industry chambers and media. So this is about theory about it. Now, what is this index? This is very important. So, Abhi, just focus now. PMI is widely used economic indicator that assesses the health of the country's manufacturing or service sector. So basically, there are two indexes. One is called the Purchaser Manager Index Services, and it's called the manufacturing. Published monthly, it provides timely insights into the current economic conditions, aiding swift and decision making. Aiding swift decision making. So it will tell you, where things are heading. A reading above 50 signifies sectoral expansion, while below 50 indicates contraction, offering a clear snapshot of economic trend. So it will tell you the trend of the economy, okay, much in advance because it is published every first, okay, every month it's updated. A leading indicator, PMI often foretells broader economic shifts, helping anticipate future trends. PMI incorporates various business aspects. Now, what is this index made up of? That's very important. We know there is an index below 50, contraction, above 50, expansion. And it keeps rising 50 and 50. Okay, just to tell you that India's PMI has been above 50 from last 2 years. So we are in a very good shape. Okay, I'll just show you the data. Now, PMI incorporate various business aspects like new orders. How many new orders a company has got? So they collect information from each and every industry. Okay, production. What was the production level? In the last month. Okay, and employment. How much new employment was offered to the people? Offering a comprehensive view of the sector performance. So it will collect a lot of data with regard to how much orders they have got, that each company is getting, okay, and what was the production last month, and what was the rate of employment? How many people were employed? What was the has it going up or going down? So they'll collect all the information. Okay, so let's go to this side. We'll go both the side. One is some explanation. So you can, but let's come to this side. So first of all, look at this number. So 29 months it has been hovering above 50. So our economy is in a good shape. Of course, it can keep going up, going down within a certain range. So it says, there was a 8 months kind of a drop, and then it started again moving up. Okay, so what he's saying is, if you look at the positive angle, he's saying that the employment was in a good trajectory. The number has risen from 55.5 to 56. So there were some pluses and there are some misses and there were some hits. Okay, so if you look at this number, so this is the number of India. It's starting from January 2023. It starts to the last year. Okay, and it has been always above 50. Okay, 55 से ऊपर ही है क्योंकि इसे शुरू हो रहा है. So October was a little lower and November has again gone up to 56. So that means November month, December is is yet to be published. Will be on 1st January. So even if you look at the last month, it's showing a positive trend. Okay, then so it's like it's been always hovering. Maximum it has touched close to about 58.5. Okay, हाँ जी, आपको मैंने भेज दिया ना, लिंक भेज दिया. सो अगर हमने 1 ईयर का देखना है, ये 1 ईयर का आ रहा होगा. ये हमारा जो है, देखो अगर चार्ट देखना है आपने, so it's like this. So, this dip is at the COVID time. Okay. And then, we can see that if we just make a trend, it's going up only, basically. There's one peak there, and then the second peak is almost the same. And, it is remaining above 50. The good point is that we are always in a mode where we are expanding. Okay. But within the expansion also, there can be some periods of slightly going down. Okay. And if we make a chart, for example, a line chart or a trend, we can just show you a trend also. So trend, you can look at the trend here. Trend is clearly suggesting that we are growing up. Okay, so this is the number, and then that is the COVID one. So that was for everything. So we are services PMI and manufacturing PMI. So if you look at the previous, it was 58. Last it was 56. Services PMI, which was 58 in the last month, it dipped to 56.9. Then manufacturing PMI, which was 55.5 last, it had gone to 56. So manufacturing PMI has shown an increase, whereas services PMI has shown a slight drop. Okay, but composite PMI, which was 58.40, is gone up to 57.40 because there is some kind of weight for both services as well as for manufacturing. So the composite PMI index is showing that previous was 58.4, now it is 57.4, slight drop compared to the previous quarter. हाँ जी, हाँ composite होगा combined, services और manufacturing का combined, based on certain weightage which it has given to each index. Okay. So, if you look at the construct of this, the S&P Global India Manufacturing, just I'm reading it, so please, pay attention. S&P Global India Manufacturing Purchasers Managers Index measures the performance of manufacturing sector and is derived from survey of 500 manufacturing companies. So what they do a survey of 500 manufacturing companies. The manufacturing purchaser index is based on 5 individual indexes with following weights. Okay, new orders 30%. So new orders का आपको कितने नए ऑर्डर मिल रहे हैं? 30%. Output, that is your production, 25%. Employment, 20%. Suppliers delivery times, 15%. And stock of items purchased and times. How the inventory is moving? Fine. Whether the inventory is going up or going down. Suppose the inventory falls. Okay. So that means more rapid production is happening and people are, selling. So selling will actually reduce your inventory. Fine. Otherwise, there can be inventory piling up. Fine. For example, you are having, 2 months inventory. Now you're having 6 months inventory. It's not a good situation. So they are capturing all the information and, releasing this data. So it's a very, very important, data to look at. Every first, you just, Google the PMI number. So it will tell you where we are heading. Okay. So what is the PMI data? Do you understand now? समझ आ गया आपको अच्छी तरह से? Okay. So, so there is, one more site which I'll just share you because it's an important thing. So that's why I'm spending time here. Okay, this is Investopedia. Okay, fine. So, so there is, I think, a video also on that. What is Purchaser Management Index? Key takeaways. So just read this key takeaways. So this is basically, capturing how they are doing it in US. Okay, because saying 19 industries, so maybe in India it will be slightly different. So, so this is a very good number. So you must keep a watch on that. Normally, I keep a watch on numbers like PMI, the GST collections. Okay, I'll just show you the GST collections. Just hold on. एक सेकंड मैं इसको निकालूं. GST collection. हाँ, अब बताइए.
सपोज मैंने एक पोर्टफोलियो बना के रखा हुआ है एंड आई सी के ईएमआई इंडेक्स जो है मेरा गिर रहा है. हाँ. इंक्रीजिंग मंथ ऑन मंथ. So उसमें what decision should I take in?
हाँ, so that's a good this thing, question. Suppose you are finding that the economic activity is contracting and the future is not good. Okay, that we are coming through a kind of a phase where, then that means you have to make some rebalancing of your portfolio. Okay, I'll just talk to you after this. Okay, after I explain this data, I will dwell on that. So this is, available from Wikipedia only. Wikipedia में site पे जाओगे वहाँ मिल जाएगा easily. Look at this number. So this is, can you see it? थोड़ा बार कर दे. So this is, the current year data. Yeah. Sure, sure. Okay. So look at here. इधर देखो, सबकी नजर वही है. ये क्या खोल के चला गया? सुंदर कन्हैया को देख के तो आप सब लोग मोहित हो जाते हो. ओके, कमिंग बैक, ये मुझे डिलीट करना पड़ेगा. ओके, April, look at this number. April, right at the top, 1,87,305 crores. This is the money collected on GST. Of course, April is a month which is the highest always. Okay, May drop down 61, 61, 165, 169, 172. Okay, so if you look at, for example, sheet 1, इसमें दिया हुआ मैंने कुछ नहीं. हाँ, this is the annual collection. Okay, look at this number. I have done it on annually. I made a graph. 2017-18, roughly on an average 82,000 crores was collected on an average per month. Then it rose to 98,000. Then this is the COVID time. Then look at the the trend, because monthly data may not tell you about the complete story, because there's a seasonality impact to all the numbers. Okay, so if you look at the collection of GST, fine, it is going up. Now we can also look at two numbers. We can compare the GST number with because GST came in 2017-18. Prior to that, we had excise duty, sales tax, all the other collections. Fine. So we can even plot numbers, previous numbers. After GST, what has changed? Whether our numbers have grown significantly, it's helped India or not. So we can build a more story about it. Okay. But I have captured from 2017-18. But prior to that, we had so many taxes: excise duty, sales tax, service tax. So all was clubbed into one. So we can have, prior to that, clubbing all that, what was the number? So how we are growing, okay? Fine. तो रामवीर, अगर आपको मिल जाए डेटा बनाओ, एक दो लोग बना सकते हैं अगर. You can try if you get time. Otherwise, you can just follow. Okay. हाँ जी. हाँ. अच्छा, ठीक है. Now, there's a question from Ramveer that, if you find, of course, he's talking about something which we are going to discuss more in detail in my coming, lectures. Fine. But since he has asked the question, I'll address a little bit. Now, suppose you are finding that the economy is not good or economy is very good. Of course, you're happy with, so you can make some changes in your portfolio if you want. Even if the economy is down, you can make some changes to adjust to the, like, what I did was that about, for example, I may tell you about, it's about a year from now, when I was, looking at my portfolio. So I was finding 60-40, 60% in debt and 40% in equity. Now, my ratio is 40-60. I'm 60% in equity and 40% in debt, because I knew that we are going to be in a very good stage, because we are saying, a lot of, words were being used to describe about India's decade or Amrit Kal, कई सारी चीजें हो रही थी, and many economists were saying this is the best time. And if you just open up any business channel, you will find, foreigners are so bullish about India. Fine. So everybody is saying that we are going to be the next economy, the next, decade will belong to AI, India, and one more thing he was telling you. हाँ जी. हाँ, अभी मैं आपको सब चीजें बताऊंगा. So just listen at the moment, okay? I'm just painting a broad picture, and then we'll talk about, because we are not gone to the specifics. We'll go into specifics after I cover this. We'll be on practical, okay? So I converted from 40-60 to 60-40, okay? So I did more allocation on equity, less on debt, fine. And then there's another thing which I did was, about 7 to 8 months back, my portfolio was only large cap dominated. 80% was large cap, 20% mid cap and small caps. Now I have reallocated. I have allocated a lot of money to the mid caps and small caps, particularly the mid caps, not to the small caps. Small cap may be hai, but very small because small caps are more riskier, but they give you the maximum return, no doubt. If I show you the chart, the small caps are giving around 40% return, and the mid caps are giving 30%, and the large caps are giving 20. I'll just show you a slide. Please listen at the moment. Okay. अभी आप क्वेश्चन पूछना जब let me just come to a stage. Okay. So you can make a kind of a rebalancing of a portfolio. Fine. And if you are thinking that, for example, if you think that you should be a little bit conserving your wealth, so put some money in gold also. You can do a lot of calculations also. Okay. And of course, there's something called beta. I told you that, you can invest in high beta stocks when the economy is doing well. When the economy is not doing well, put your money more into the low beta. So all those strategies we'll talk about. Okay. So अभी आप क्वेश्चन आपका भी पूछना अभी बताता हूँ अब मैं क्या दिखाना चाहता था हाँ which was also kind of a thing which I just wanted to show you today only. uh, I don't know whether I will be reaching to this stage today or not, though my original plan was to start from here. So this will excite you a lot basically. Hmm. So, this is the 3 years equity return. Last 3 years, if you have put your money into mutual funds, of course, you can put money in mutual funds directly into stocks. We are going to discuss about that also, how to choose the best stocks and put your money. If you don't want to choose your stocks and put money and want to invest in mutual funds, so look at the 3 years returns. Large cap, 31%. The highest return was given by Nippon India, 31% in the last 3 years. I picked up the highest one, okay? Large and mid caps, SGFC mid cap 32.73%. Mid cap quant 40%. Quant is a scheme, okay? AMC. Then small cap quant, again, quant has been doing very good. Small cap 47.2%. So these are the returns which various fund houses have given to you. Various schemes have given. These are highest ones. Of course, some funds have given less also. So if you have invested your money in 1 year, it has become almost like they've given 47% return. If you have invested in mid cap fund, it has given 40%. Okay. So if you have invested in a large cap and mid cap together, 32 and 31 in Nippon. This is the highest. Okay. I put a lot of money in Nippon. Lot of money in Nippon. But then I changed my allocation. I moved towards more towards large and mid cap and towards mid cap category. Fine. To capture all the this thing. And the moment the I was doing it after 3, 4, 5 months, the mid caps and small caps have given a very good return. It is showing here. So then they were saying that hold on, the mid cap and small caps may not move forward very fast now. It will be large caps will be doing well. Fine. So I asked my, the consultant whom I always approach, and before I do my own analysis, and I asked, seek his advice also. He says, no, no, mid caps will do well, and you can stay with mid caps. So I have not changed my portfolio. I have not moved back from mid cap to large caps, despite the view that the mid caps are going to underperform the large caps. So this was kind of a view, but so far it has not happened. Though maybe I have not checked the data completely, but the mid caps have also shown a very good return. Okay, now this is equity returns. Okay, now if you have put your money in fixed income securities, of course, fixed income securities, when you look at it, it pales into insignificance because their returns are very low. So if you invest your money in fixed income securities, mutual funds, you can put your money in a fixed deposit, or you can buy these debt funds. Of course, you should be investing in debt funds. My 40% money is still in debt funds. Okay, how much? 6.5 to 7, 7.76, 7.9, 7.5, okay, 9.12. Now, these are various kinds of returns which you get when you invest into debt funds. Okay, and they are called overnight funds, liquid funds, low duration, short duration, ultra short duration, medium duration, medium to long duration, dynamic funds, corporate bond funds, gilt government funds, Okay, credit risk funds. Okay, so we are going to understand what are these funds. Okay, why they are classified as low duration, short duration, long duration. कोई idea है आपको? Okay, what is the duration? Macaulay's duration, have you heard? So we are going to discuss that. That's a very interesting part. Okay, fine. This will, completely give a grip to you about, various schemes where you should be putting your money. Okay.
How we can buy this? So that we should buy this demat account or option.
So that's a good question. Coming back to from where do we buy mutual funds? Of course, you don't have to have a demat account, first of all.
Debt fund is also available.
Any mutual funds, it doesn't require any demat account, except if it's a close-ended fund and it is listed on the stock exchange. Rest of the funds are not listed in the stock exchange. So you buy it from the asset management company directly or through your banker, through a broker, through a distributor. So normally, whenever, have you all invested in mutual funds? अच्छा तो क्या होता है there are two ways either to buy directly or buy from a broker. Okay, when you buy directly you save about close to about 1% or 0.75% annual charge because that money is paid to the broker. Okay, so if no zero से कर रहे हो तो वो broker के थ्रू ही है. वो तो है वो आपको जीरोधा से ले रहे हो जिसे भी ले रहे हो वो आपका डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर ही है. If you go to the asset management company side directly, for example, let me just show you how do you buy, because this was an important thing. So, because I have bought directly also, Motilal Oswal. Okay. So this is a site. If you are buying mutual fund from this site directly, Motilal Oswal, this is a asset management company. Okay, which runs many various schemes. Okay, so you can just log into account. I'll just show you. अब मैंने भी डायरेक्टली बहुत कम खरीदे हैं. आप हाँ तो ये मोतीलाल ब्रोकर तो है. It's running a brokerage house also. It's running various schemes. It's an asset management company. It is a mutual fund. मोतीलाल म्यूचुअल फंड. जो ब्रोकरेज वाली है उसकी अलग साइट है. Okay. I'm just showing, because so far I have also not invested so much, क्या बोल रहे थे आप?
आप जो भी दिखाओगे these are debt funds.
No. This is how do you buy mutual fund? Whether you can buy debt funds or you can buy equity funds. Small cap, mid cap, कुछ भी खरीदना है आपको.
यहाँ पे हम लोग debt fund भी buy.
हाँ, यहाँ से आप खरीद सकते हैं. देखो ये है इन्वेस्ट कॉलम. फाइन. गो टू इन्वेस्ट. ये है रिडम्पशन. अगर आपको पहले इन्वेस्ट करना है तो यहाँ जाओ. ओके, गो टू इन्वेस्ट, क्विक इन्वेस्ट, लमसम इन्वेस्ट, एसआईपी, कुछ भी इन्वेस्ट कर सकते हो. दिस इज नॉट अ ब्रोकरेज साइट. दिस इज एक्चुअली अ म्यूचुअल फंड एसेट मैनेजमेंट कंपनी साइट. They're not taking any charge. That's why what I did was I just, thought, because most of my investments were done about 20 years back, 15 years back, 10 years back. So at that time, people were buying only through brokers. Okay. And most of the people are not knowing that we can still, because till today, you don't know how to buy it. Okay. Because you have not bought directly, isn't it? So आज भी जो मतलब लोगों की वो जो है कम है. तो आप साइट में जाके किसी भी साइट पे जाके HDFC म्यूचुअल फंड, ICICI म्यूचुअल फंड, there are so many sites you can buy directly. Okay, fine. So just you can look, I have invested 6,06,000. It is now current value is 8,46,000. So I made a gain of 2,39,000 here, which is 39.4. So this is all basically I've converted everything into mid caps. Okay, fine. So you can invest, for example. मोतीलाल में हो तो आप मोतीलाल ही कर सकते हो because that is their site. Okay, this is their schemes. Okay, you get to buy. If you have to buy Axis or Nippon, you go to the Nippon site. Okay, so normally we are already. हाँ, तो इसमें सारी स्कीम्स हैं. आप कुछ भी खरीद सकते हो इसमें. कोई इन्वेस्ट नाउ. So this is direct investing. You can even buy a debt fund also. Fine. So you can just see all this thing. ये देखो मोतीलाल अल्ट्रा शॉर्ट टर्म फंड. दिस इज आई शोड यू. दिस इज गिविंग 7%. नाउ कमिंग बैक टू द चार्जेस. नाउ लास्ट टाइम मैंने डिस्कस नहीं करते चार्जेस के बारे में कुछ. सो लेट्स टॉक अबाउट एक्विटी. ओके, लेट्स टॉक अबाउट से लार्ज कैप. ये लास्ट टाइम मैंने दिखाया था आपको. ओके, and let's go to a call, for example, now this is direct. Okay, and there can be direct or regular. Direct is when you're buying directly from the asset management company, or regular when you're buying from a broker. So let's put one. So अभी हमें direct बताएगा, हम उसको convert भी कर सकते. Now this is a direct fund. Okay, what is the expense ratio? 0.77. You're paying how much? 0.77. अगर आपने डायरेक्ट इसी फंड में लगाया होता तो अब मैं इसको रेगुलर में कर देता हूं, ये देखो, और गो करता हूं, तो कितना हो गया एक्सपेंस रेशियो? तो समझ आ गई आपको बात? अगर आप मैं ढूंढ रहा था वो एक्चुअली टेलिंग द स्टोरी. नहीं भाई, ये मनी कंट्रोल नहीं है. दिस इज जस्ट एनालिसिस साइड. वी आर नॉट बाइंग. इट इज टेलिंग यू फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, बी श्योर that this giving you analysis of all the mutual funds. Now it is telling you if you buy regular or buy direct. Just let me complete. पहले समझ लो अच्छी तरह से क्या हम कर क्या रहे हैं. This is a site which is giving you analysis of mutual fund. It's not a mutual fund buying site. Okay, we are not using this platform to buy. If we are using this platform to buy, then actually we will go into the regular. फिर हम ब्रोकर की तरफ जा रहे हैं. ओके, बट हम देख रहे हैं कि दोनों प्लान्स का परसेंटेज क्या, एक्सपेंस रेशियो कितनी है? 2.39. इफ यू बाई थ्रू अ ब्रोकर, then actually we are paying 2.39 per annum. If we are buying directly, if you go to direct here, okay, if you go to direct here, then how much we are paying? एक सेकंड, डायरेक्ट अभी तो रेगुलर ही चल रहा है. डायरेक्ट हो गया कितना है? 0.7. Now look at the size of the fund. एक सेकंड, what's your name? Sandeep, please look at this. What is the size of the fund? 349 crores. It's a very small fund. Let's look at, for example, Nippon, which is a big fund, almost more than 10,000 crore. मैंने आपको बताया अगर आप किसी फंड में लगाते हो, उसका फंड का कॉपस बहुत कम है, कम पैसा लोगों का लगा हुआ है, तो चार्जेस भी आपको बहुत ज्यादा दिखाई देंगे. अभी कितना बताया था? 2.39%. ओके, लेट्स गो टू निप्पॉन. ओके, फाइन. सो लेट्स लुक एट निप्पॉन, और लेट्स लुक एट लेट्स सॉर्ट इट विद एएमसी. यहां से सॉर्ट कर लेते हैं एयूएम. अब जैसे ये आईसीआईसी प्रूडेंशियल है, कितना पैसा लगा? 44,000 करोड़. ओके, फाइन. इट्स अ 5-स्टार फंड. नाउ व्हाट इज द चार्जेस इफ यू आर गोइंग रेगुलर, डायरेक्ट जाते हैं तो कितना है? 0.99. अगर हम जाते हैं रेगुलर में ब्रोकर के थ्रू, हाउ मच? 1.5. तो अब यहां पर वो 2 पॉइंट समथिंग दे रहा था. ये बहुत बड़ा फंड है, तो इसके चार्जेस जो है कम हो जाएंगे. क्यों कम हो जाएंगे? बिकॉज ऑफ द इसके फिक्स. अब फंड मैनेजर की सैलरी तो एक ही है ना,